What is AI trading and how it differs from normal trading? That's going to be the objective of today's video. When most people they thinking about the trading, they imagine something like that. There's a graph, there's a stock, there's a support, there's resistance, there's different indicators, and there they buying the support, selling the resistance, and that's how it works. Most people imagine this is going to be the trading. However, nowadays, with the growth of AI, everything is changing. It is important to mention that algorithmic trading has been taking the market over the last 40 years. Over the last 40 years, more than 80% of all the trades in the financial market were executed by algorithms. So it were no humans, it was machines who were making all those predictions. And in the past, in order to create this algorithm, trading algorithm, you need to have a huge machine which analyzes a lot of metrics, which backtest everything, and which does like enormous amount of which has enormous processing power to create this trading algorithm. Right now, everything is changing. Right now, every retail trader can develop their own trading algorithm using AI. And that's what is so crazy about these times, because the power is changing to the retail traders. Right now, the retail traders, they have this power in their hands. They just not utilizing it most of the time. And once again, the AI is primarily used to identify the edge in the market. AI is never used to execute the trades. And this is the important to mention, and most people, they understand it wrong. Most people, when they think in AI trading, they thinking that I gonna connect AI to the financial to the market, and it's gonna do everything. It's gonna be telling me what to buy, when to sell, maybe execute all the orders for me and do everything on the autopilot. It is not the case. I can promise that. You can ask AI what to do, but the most likely it's gonna be wrong. The point is there that you can trade exactly the same stock in multiple different variants, and all of them they're going to be profitable. And I've seen that happen, and I've seen how the very same stock was traded on the long side and the short side at the very same time. And both those traders, they were winning, they were earning money, but they were trading it differently. That's why you cannot ask AI how to trade and what to trade without defining what is going to be your strategy. And this is where AI really shines. AI helps you to create a strategy and to identify the edge better than anything else, better than anything you can imagine, but better than all the books you can find in the universe. AI is better than all of that, because it's going to be making the assumption of the edge existence. Then it's going to be writing the algorithm for that test, for that edge. Then it's going to be backtesting those algorithms on the real market data. Then it's going to be analyzing reports of those backtests. And then it's going to be improving the algorithm itself. So at the end of the day, AI is going to be doing all the heavy lifting job, and you will be given the final result is going to be algorithmic trading code, which is going to be handed over to you. And this is actually the code which is going to be run on the server and which is going to be doing all the job. So AI is not going to be involved in anything over there. Once the algorithm is running, it's doing its job. It's already hard-coded the right way. It's hard-coded the way when to buy, when to sell, in order to follow the strategy which was identified by the edge in the market. So that was AI is doing. AI is identifying the edge, AI is writing the strategy, and AI is backtesting, and AI is writing you the code. That's the objective of AI. So now I would like you to show an example of algorithmic trade of the algorithm. So this is how the most likely it is going to look like. This is the one of the algorithm I wrote for semi-quality long version 6. This is the one I wrote like a month ago or so. This is exactly the strategy which I've been trading over the last multiple years, but I've been trading it manually. And at some point of time, I decided like it makes no sense to execute all the trades by myself when I can write an algorithm which is who is going to do that on my behalf. And that's where when I opened the Claude Code, and I said, can you write me the algorithm and backtest the edge and do everything for me? And this is what the result is. So I have this huge Python script, which is like 700 lines, which scans the entire stock market for the stocks which fits the certain criteria, which identifies when to buy the stocks, when to take profits, when to cover losses. It does everything for me on autopilot. And this is actually the result of the backtest of this algorithm. But I think the starting capital here of this it's like 100,000 was. Let me rerun it the backtest so we're gonna see the actual it's in action of the backtesting. So right now what's happening? Right now I'm gonna run this algorithm which has been written by AI. This is the starting capital is 100,000, and this is so right now the server is runs this algorithm on the past market data over the last 5 years, and then is going to be executing all the orders which in the sequential manner which were defined by the algorithm, and then it's going to tell me how much my fees are, how much my returns, how much my profit loss, which stocks I took, which position I held, and so on and so forth. It's drawdowns, P&L, literally everything is going to tell me. And as you see, we started with 100,000 in capital. It was in 2021, so 5 years of backtesting. So if we were starting this strategy 5 years ago and started to trade it exactly the same manner it's been defined in this file, then that would be the result. By the end of this year, I would end up with 1,772,000 in my bank account. This is a nice number. And however, it is important to mention that this is a back testing. And the back testing, it's not live testing. In the live testing, there's a slippages, there's different problems, there's even problems with the server can be. So there's all these mistakes which must be encountered. And all of that is going to be reducing the actual returns. So you have to, it's like, this is the ideal numbers which I can squeeze out of my strategy. But the actual numbers is going I'd rather say there's going to be 25, at least 25% lower. Anyway, still, the returns are not bad. The fees are relatively small, but I'm using here the interactive broker model for fees. And the interactive broker is well known for its very low fees for all the orders. This is all the positions which I held. Majority was actually NVIDIA, and that was actually the true because in my strategy, it was all the strategy was related to the semiconductor industry. So this is the strategy which was developed around the growth of AI. That was the time 3 years ago I started to trade when the ChatGPT came into play, and I started to heavily invest into Nvidia. And that's why you see that the majority of the holding of that strategy is inside of Nvidia. But there's other companies like AMD. What is there? MNQ, like all the other tickers here, you can actually see. Maybe we can make them bigger, can we? Yeah, maybe even more bigger. Yeah, so that's all the tickers which were traded in this strategy. This is the drawdown. The max drawdown was in 2025. It was 32%, which is a lot for the drawdown. But I'm not gonna lie, there were a situation when something like that happened. For example, when Yeah, it was actually 2025 when the Trump implemented the policies against Taiwan, and the stock prices they plummeted in April, and I think that was the reflection of this strategy. So it actually very accurate. Here you see actually the how many orders were executed here, what is average win rate, what is compounding annual returns, 71%. My actual returns were actually around 40%, so it is a bit less. And how much net profit, what is the drawdown, all those numbers you see here. You can also see all the orders executions if you want to see here. Everything is in here. And that's how the actual strategy development is happening right now. First, you're using AI to identify the edge in the market and to write yourself a code for that particular strategy. Then you actually backtesting those strategy. You're backtesting it vigorously. It's not one variant, it's not two variants. Most likely you're going to backtest 50, 60, and even 100 different variants of those strategy, improving tiny bit of your strategy and seeing how it's going to be affecting the backtest results of your strategy. And after you're happy with the backtesting, you're going into live testing. I mean, before you're going to paper testing. Paper testing, it's testing with ongoing market, but without actual money. And you're paper testing your strategy at least for 3 months. For 3 months, you need to ensure that orders are executed in the right manner, that the profits are taken in the right time, stop losses are executed, everything is works and according to the algorithm which has been developed. And then after you've been done back testing, live testing, only then you're going on the real market with this strategy and with the real money. So this is how AI trading works, and I hope you like the objective of this video, and I hope actually I let you know what is AI trading is. And once again, I open in community where I'm gonna be teaching everything about AI trading, how to write the strategy, how to backtest them, how to do everything in a Claude code in the fast possible manner, how to connect all the tools whichever you needed, how to live test your strategy, how to improve it, and so on and so forth. I will be teaching everything I know. I'm gonna drop the link to that school community in the description section down below. Feel free to check it out if you want to. And thank you very much for watching this video. I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.